Without the inclusion of private philanthropy, the City of San Diego's spending for library materials such as books, digital databases, language acquisition software, resources for the visually impaired, and ebooks is only $1.28 per capita, one of the lowest among large metropolitan areas in the nation, and approximately half of what the County of San Diego spends. And additionally, there has not been an increase in these material budgets since 2009. As mayor, would you commit to increasing the amount of funds the city spends on library materials and increase the amount of the city match to facilitate additional philanthropy?
Yes, and I want to start by thanking the Friends and other philanthropic groups that are helping to bridge the gaps that the city has not been able to provide. And Patrick, that question is important because I think that particularly given the circumstances we're going to find ourselves in over the next year or two because of the recession, these kinds of partnerships will be pretty important. And Patrick, I'd ask you to judge me on what I've done in the past to understand what I would do going forward as your mayor. As the chair of the city's budget committee, you constantly saw me year after year standing up to propose reductions to library hours and other sorts of reductions to publications and whatnot. Now, that doesn't get to the point that you're asking about in terms of enhancements, but is a recognition of the fact that I get it, that I understand the inherent value of our libraries, that I appreciate the partnership with groups like the Friends and the Foundation, and that I as mayor could start from a different place, a different starting point, one that doesn't include reductions, but instead gets to what you're asking, which is how can we start enhancing the offerings that the city has. I would hope to be able to do that. I think that in the size of the budget that we're talking about, even a reduced one, that there is latitude to allow for a real commitment to address the needs in the community. And it gets back to Wendy's previous question about when we find ourselves in a situation where our communities are hurting, when the inequities in our society are laid bare because of the coronavirus, and at a time when we're seeing historically high unemployment, I, as your mayor, would understand the important role that libraries can play in addressing some of these needs. And that's why I can say yes to the question, because I see it as a part of a recovery package that the city could help put forward to try and signal to San Diegans that we are going to work together to climb out of the hole we find ourselves in, and that we'll give people hope that they can get back to some level of normalcy sooner rather than later. Again, I see the library and these partnering organizations as being key in making that happen.